Okay, so thank you for being here. I'm Audrey, and I'm the coordinator of Humanitarian Alternatives, the review Humanitarian Alternatives. And I'll be doing this presentation with Clara, who is a member of the editorial board of the review.
And a professor of humanitarian studies at the University of Groningen in the Netherlands.
So I'll maybe start with a general presentation of what we do in Alternative Humanitaire, and then I'll give the floor to Clara so she can present our next issue that will be published in November. Okay. Okay, so at the beginning, this is great. Humanitarian Alternatives was created 5 years ago. It's an international and bilingual review published in French and English. It's a review of debate and research about humanitarian action. Its positioning is characterized by its cross-cutting nature. We are a place for debate between researchers, the academic world, and practitioners of humanitarian aid. We are open to all actors of the humanitarian sector, and also we are supported by several institutions, humanitarian institutions. So there were mainly 3 ambitions at the beginning of the project. The first one was to encourage them to take part in a global reflection about humanitarian action, its development, and the challenges the sector faced, with a review that is published both online in open access and in a printed edition that is available by subscription or for sale. The second ambition was to encourage and establish a space of debate between researchers and practitioners. I don't know if you were here at the precedent session, but this topic came out about the collaboration between research, academic world, and practitioners. And finally, it was also to make the word of the Sans Frontières movement more audible in the international scene. So for this, 4 persons gathered together to create the journal. So Jean-François Mattei, Benoît Méribel, Jean-Baptiste Richardier, and Jean-Christophe Ruffin were at the beginning of this initiative. 5 years ago, we were only funded by 4 foundations. And now we have a very large panel of foundations financing the review. And we also, because we're in this logic of both researchers and practitioners, we also have partners with, the academic world. So we have several universities that are partner of Humanitarian Alternatives. All of them are French-speaking centers. But located all around the globe. We also work in collaboration with some international events and French events that are focused on humanitarian action. So the International Humanitarian Studies Conference is one of them, of course. And we also organize conference and create debates in France and with our other partners, Action contre la faim, Médecins du Monde. So we can really generate debate, and not only through the review online and in later edition. So to do this, we're a team of 2 persons. So Boris Martin, who is the editor-in-chief of the journal, and myself. And we work in close collaboration with 4 main governance structures. So we have the board of directors, of course, the editorial committee that is led by Boris Martin, and that gathers researchers and teachers from the sector, so Clara being one of them. We also have an advisory board that gathers all the financial partners, and a scientific committee that gathers the university partners of the journal. So as I said before, Humanitarian Alternatives has a multimedia distribution. So we have the printed edition of the journal that you can see here. So where you can find all articles in French and English. I don't know if you want to take a look at it. And also all articles that are published there are available in open access online on our website and on several other platforms. You can download them also in PDF if you want, both in French and English. So very dual strategy of publication. So the review was created 5 years ago. We published every time 3 issues per year in March, July, and November, always in French and English. And the calibration of the articles is meant to be halfway for researchers to develop their thinking, and for researchers to have a space that is out of the constraints of academic publications. And our way of function is really classical. We have a focus team, a thematic focus team, that is half of the issue, and then the other half is really dedicated to other topics non-related to the specific theme. So here you have an overview of all the publications we've had. So you can see that we published either by thematic issues, Ebola, the World Summit, but also geographical issues, like for instance, the one we published about Africa. Here are the publications 2 years after that. So with a historical approach, the one of November 2018, we've published, of course, about climate change, demography, the urbanization of humanitarian aid. So very wide spectrum of thematics on the different publications. Of course, we had to publish issues about the COVID pandemic. So we've published 2 issues about that. And our last edition was about the research and humanitarian aid and the challenges of the collaboration within these two words. So to create all this and to publish all this knowledge, we have implemented several collaboration. Every issue is co-piloted either by someone from the editorial board or by a person in an institute. So, for example, the IHSA was partnering one of the issues we published. We've also Yann Darlin from the École Normale Supérieure. He also co-piloted the issue about this gender-based and sexual violence. So we try to create collaborations like this in the academic and practitioners' work. We don't only publish articles, but also the work of photojournalism, and we think that is it's another perspective and another way of talking about humanitarian aid. So we've published really great photographers and new stars like the Syrian photographer Abdel Nomane Assa, who has done an incredible job. So here are some examples of the authors that we've published in our several reviews. So you can see that we published people from the academic world like Yannick Jaffray or Eleanor Davé, but also more practitioner profiles like Florence Thune or Anahi, for instance. So it's very diverse publications. We don't only do the review that you can see here, but we also have an internet-based platform on our website. We've created a section that is called Forum. So the objective of this section was to really create a space of debate and reaction about publications that we already published in the review, but also to share an analysis that is not on the journal. We have an important new section that is dedicated to humanitarian students. So maybe we could talk about this a bit more. So the idea is to publish articles from studies that are in Master 1 or Master 2 in the humanitarian field. For the first year, we let it open to students just to come to us and publish and submit their proposals. But we realized that students weren't coming in and didn't have, I don't know if it's the reassurance or I don't know what happened, but they didn't come to us. So we partner with the University Paris-La Sorbonne and Université Laval in Quebec. And so the responsible of the master was leading students and pre-selecting students in order to motivate them and so that they can send us their proposal. And this works very, very good. So we're really happy of the results of this section. To try and publish something else than just written articles, we've developed 3 sections for interviews. So we have interviews for academic persons, the researcher's word, the one for practitioners, and then for authors that just published a book. We put the spotlight on that as well. And of course, we have a section for events in the humanitarian sector. So yeah, it's a lot of, we have a lot of information, and not only the articles that are already important. So here are some interviews that we did and that we put online. Sandrine Revet, who is a research director here in Sciences Po. We published an article from Dominique Redon that's really, really good. I recommend that. And then interviews with Bruno Cabanès or Patrice Paoli. So we try to diversify our publications as we can. So if you want to contribute to the journal, for every issue, we send out a call for papers that is open to all actors of the humanitarian sector. So please, don't hesitate to contact if you have any proposals about articles or if you want to contribute to the journal. And if your thematic does not correspond to the call for papers, you can send us either way your proposal, and we can find another way to publish it, either on the paper version of the journal or the website. Humanitarian Alternatives. So I will be here the 3 days of the conference. So if you want to come and have a chat and take maybe a look at the journal, please feel free. I'll be happy to talk to you for your students.
And for some ideas as well. That's why I came actually.
Okay, great.
Because I didn't get published in Alternative Humanitaire, but in the predecessor issue, which was a cahier, and also Boris Martin was involved in.
Okay, yeah, that was a journal that was, and then Médecins du Monde.
Yeah, it was. The connection with Médecins du Monde was much more étroite.
Exactly.
Closer than.
And that's, I think that's one of our strengths, that we're from a diverse. I mean, we don't have only one partner, but several partners, and.
Actually, what is the length of an average article in terms of words?
It's 4 pages.
Like 2,000 if you take like 2,500.
Words, a bit less.
Yes.
Slightly less, I would say. Yeah.
But
1,500, 1,800, I would say.
But the stress is still on the concise articles.
Yeah.
I like that. No, because I mean, we have very often situations, for example, with students or researchers, they don't have enough material for a fully fledged journal of the article that goes to peer review, you know, and the whole process. But you can still make something good of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And the bilingualism, you will maintain that?
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah. And I actually would like to develop the Spanish also version of the Humanitarian Alternatives, but I mean, only English and French is enormous work, and also has an impact financially. So for now, we're going to stick to the 2 languages, and we don't have any, I mean, we're not going to change that.
And the translations are done by you or by a subcontractor?
I mean, yeah, we have translators that work for us, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so the next topic of our issue will be about the race. Yeah.
Yes, we thought it would be good to also discuss the next issue, and then we can perhaps already pre-order it, but also, yes, to give you a sense of the type of topic we are tackling. So the next issue will focus on the impact of the current political environment, especially the rise of nationalisms in different countries, not only in Europe, but also in Asia, Latin America, North America, on the protection of migrants by humanitarian organizations. So that's surely a topical, but also a sensitive topic, and we wanted also to really explore what the change in political landscape is doing to current humanitarian practice and to the ability of organizations to protect migrants and a freedom of movement from people across national borders. We are having, I think, 7 articles. That's a rather big issue for November. So we have one set of contribution looking at specific contexts, so namely the evolution of migrant protection in Ecuador, in Venezuela, no, Brazil, and in Myanmar. So this is for more like, it's more of a scholarly perspective at the contextual level. And then we have another set of contribution looking at strategic decisions by humanitarian organizations, and especially critically analyzing the role international organizations are doing in that debate, where they tend to be a bit also silent or not really having a clear way of addressing this rise of nationalisms. And then we have a last set of contributions looking at new forms of solidarity. So specific case of action done at the border by mostly social movements or small organizations that are also, I think, challenging the good old ways of doing humanitarianism. So that's a great, I think, issue that we will have, topical one. And as you can see, it really mixes up the focus, the scholarly focus, the focus on context, macro analysis, and more of a practitioner, and even in some cases, I would say, yeah, the focus of political activists on this issue. So we are very, very much looking forward to have this issue out. And yes, we are also very happy to hear about any ideas you may have about relevant focus for the review in the future. Thanks a million.
Thank you. I don't know if online people can.
Yeah, it's
we have 10 participants online.
It's hybrid thingy.
Yes, there are 8 different people online as of right now, I believe.
Are there
Any
Not
questions?
questions at the moment, but we'll leave the chat open.
You don't have questions or remarks? It's the lunchtime that is. So yeah, I'll be happy to answer if you have any other questions.
Thank you.